Hi y'all. So I'm gonna do the demo again. So here is my palette. Watercolor you can rehydrate, wash you can't. So I've got two different blues. I got Phthalo Blue Red Shade. I have Ultramarine Blue Deep. I have Ivory Black, Raw Sienna, Davies Gray. It's not Vermilion, it's Red Deep, and Burnt Sienna. And then I'm gonna add watercolor indigo. These are all Holbein. Gouache, you can't rehydrate, but this is for my color mixtures that I'm going to use white with to neutralize and for my strongest lights. Whoa. So I have my paper towel and I have my 2 cups of water. One to make clean color and one to to clean off my brush to make new colors. So that'll be the dirty watercolor. So when starting with this portrait, I'm going to choose the bigger areas to block in first. And I'm looking at the shape of the shape of parts of the anatomy. So those individual shapes, and thinking what type of brush would be good. Well, since this is more of a broad area and we're filling in with color in the drawing, I want to use I feel would be better because it will cover larger areas in the shape with color and temperature and value. So this is a filbert. So you want to dip only the tip. So I just dip the tip of my brush in watercolor. So there are different smaller shapes within the forehead of color, value. Another name for value is tone and temperature. But I'm going to start with the bigger shape, so this shape in here. And so I need to use this color that I have. Oh, and I got some white gouache on my hand. So this was all watercolor, so I just rehydrated this right now. So this color mixture, I'm just going to take some white gouache and I'm going to mix to a solid. Now this is a little, except that color would go really well in there. So I'm going to hold off on that, but I'm going to take a little bit and put that color in there. Now this is my dirty water now. Thoroughly clean off my brush and dry on the paper towel. And then I'm just going to dip the tip. Take some of that raw sienna color and mix it in there. And it's still a little light. So clean off your brush, dry it off. Rehydrate this watercolor. And I'm going to mix that in there. Oh, that's starting to look good. Okay, but the color's not there yet. That's why you dip the tip of the brush in the clean water. There. So now I'm going to block in this bigger shape. And you could do a grouping. So I'm choosing larger areas, but if I see some of the color in that area, since I have it on my brush, I'm blocking in those areas that have that color. And see how I'm manipulating my brush like a narrow area? I'm just going to go back into and say I put some, now that needs a little more white. Sorry, one moment. Dean, please get down. Mr. Dean. So I'd advise you to use a smaller brush, but I'm using this brush since it's loaded with color. Let's see, and go back into those areas, and I think it might need some yellow in there too. So I'm gonna clean off this brush and choose another one. So I'm gonna use this round, dip only at the tip again. So the raw sienna watercolor, this red deep, putting it back in this mixture. But I need some more, clean off my brush, dip the tip. So I need some of this color in here, more of it. Oh, I'll clean that now. Put some blue in there too. Go back to that area. Now, clean off my brush. Oops. I'm taking some ivory black and some of that raw sienna. See how that's a saturated color? See how dark it is? The value, it's your darkest dark. Now I'm going to clean off my brush and just take a tiny bit of water and mix that. Now I'm going to block in his hair. Now see, that's a watercolor bead. See how I'm pushing it around. See, it was already a wet area, but I'm going in wet media again with it. The watercolor, so it's wet into wet. Since you're working from photo reference too, I'd advise, same with when you're drawing, look at it upside down and draw with your brush. Same when drawing, so you can see the abstract shapes. I would have liked to spend more time on my drawing, much more time than what I did, but I have to show a demo because I normally take a long time with my drawing and it's worth it. So now I'm going to take some of that color Ooh, and some of the ivory black. That's going to be great for in his neck and parts of his orbital bone and around the eye. This is watercolor. See how it has a shine. Again, see the bead? You travel with your bead. I see some of that color in his hair. So I'm going to put it back in there. For me, this is far from done. I would want to develop it more so it's strong. And the colors I'm pointing out, that's not for everyone. So this, when I'm talking to you guys about squinting, and that's also applied to drawing too, and it's not just only for portraiture. That's like for landscape, that's for figurative. You want to always squint because it abstracts what you're seeing. It simplifies it. And you want to start with, that's okay, this is a blossom because this is wet, and then that's a wet area, but I'll go back into it. You want to simplify what you're seeing. You want structure first. Like, you can't be descriptive with a really wonky drawing. You're not going to achieve what you want. So that's why you got to really push through and apply yourself. And really take your time with your drawing and put a lot of effort, and know that, art's hard work. It's not easy, but it's worth it in the long run. Let's see. This would be a great color for his lips. Now I'll have to go back in and put in some bright colors, but this is a good color for now. Blocking in. So this has some gouache and watercolor in it. And the materials list I give you are colors that I work with, but what you're working with, doesn't mean the colors I give you are going to be are going to solve and get exactly the color you need, depending on the imagery that you're referencing. You have to go by that, or you work with the color you have. Also, if you don't like that, let's say if this was yours, and if you accidentally did that, just take a thin of paper towel and just blot. And then with gouache, you can go over that. If you've got colored gouache, or you could, again, do a deep saturated color in watercolor. And then under here, there's darker shadow. Also here, there. I need yellow, a ton of yellow ochre and raw sienna. I'm gonna find that quickly. Oh. So, tip of water, some raw sienna. Great. And then some of that pink color. So you just have to squint and take your time. This needs more green in that area. Mix it in with that wet color that's there. Also, gouache dries darker too. And gouache you can layer. I definitely need them. More white. This is good. So you're gonna develop the drawing further when it dries. The spout just blocking it in, so it's gonna feel and look strange. So that's what you would keep doing. So I don't want to keep going in here because it's gonna bleed within each other. But I think this is enough information for you to get started. And first and foremost is really working on your drawing first. All right. Thank you.